Hey guys, it's Tamara Bennett from Southern Adornments Decor. I'm here today with Painters Clubhouse member Lauren Martin. Hey, Lauren.
Hello.
Lauren and I go way back. So this is not somebody I don't know very well. She and I have known each other for a little over 10 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Our husbands used to work together, and we actually used to live in the same town for a little while, and we crafted together quite a lot. But in what year did you move away?
2013.
Was it 2013? I guess I
Yes.
thought we had more time before that when we were doing all that crafting. So we crafted together for probably at least a whole year, maybe 2 years.
I moved down there in the spring of 2011.
Okay.
And then, we met like the fall of 2010. That's
Okay.
when we graduated together.
It's
So
all blurring together at this point.
I know. That's what happens. Like that many years, that's what happens. It's all kind of like,
And we've raised a few kids in during that time.
that's my markers
Yeah.
because I moved after Connor was born. So 2013.
Okay. Yes. So Lauren and I did crafting together and painting together long before Southern Adornments Decor was ever a thing, long before the Painters Clubhouse was ever a
Mm-hmm.
thing. She and I were making things together. We made wedding invitations together.
Yep.
We did door hangers. What else did we make?
We made those hearts that like hung
Mhm.
down on ribbon. We did a
Things like
countdown frame.
conversation hearts. Yeah.
Yep. We did headbands one time.
Mhm. We made
All
some of
kinds
those
of things.
paracord bracelets. The boys really liked those. They were kind of like military paracord. Like that was so popular back then. The kids were all wearing them and making them. We made DIY laundry detergent. We did all kinds of stuff. We used to do something called Pinterest parties together. And if you've never heard of a Pinterest party, that's probably because I'm probably the only one who's ever done Pinterest parties. I don't know. That's what I called them. Essentially, I would find a project on Pinterest that piqued my interest about once a month, and I would create a Facebook event, invite my friends and family, and then once I had a head count of how many people were coming, I'd gather the supplies and charge everybody their portion of the supplies. And it was just my excuse to have a girls' night.
Mm-hmm.
And I would just say, bring your kids, we'll dump them in the playroom, bring a dish, we'll all eat together. And those are some of my favorite memories. We had such a good time doing that.
Yes, we did. It was much needed during that time when the guys were on different shifts and Michael was deployed and just all kinds of those times that just needed something.
Yeah. I was only about 30 years old at that time, maybe 31. And I was home most of the time with like a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old. And I was craving adult conversation and a distraction. And I never got to get out of the house much. And even if I had wanted to get out of the house, that meant I had to take 2 boys with me. So it was really stressful to think about going somewhere. But having a bunch of people in my house that could entertain me, that seemed a whole lot more doable. So we did it about once a month together and had such a great time. And we painted probably 2 or 3 door hangers during that time.
Mm-hmm.
I know we did a snowman, an Easter chick.
We did burlap ones before
Yeah,
you
that was
even
actually
tried
first.
wood.
Yeah, because I didn't know how to use a jigsaw back then. So we bought a big roll of burlap at the store, and we cut it out in the shape of like watermelons or something. Some of the ladies cut different shapes, I think, but I did a
an
watermelon.
apple.
Oh, you did an apple. I forgot that different people did different ones. Yeah, though mine didn't hold up very well though. The burlap kind of shredded, and we stuffed them with Walmart sacks, so they were kind of like little pillows.
I remember that.
But Lauren had to move away in like 2013 because she got a job back home. Her husband got moved to a different location with his work, and our crafting stopped for a long while. And so I have missed her quite a bit, but through the Painters Clubhouse, she has actually come back into my life in a new way with crafting. And so I think it's kind of funny because I started Painters Clubhouse back in 2018, but you didn't actually join the Clubhouse until 2022. It took you 4 years before you decided to go ahead and do it. So let me just ask this, like, what was it that made you wait so long, I guess? I mean,
I didn't think I had time. In 2018, Emma was 1. So I'd had another baby and we were still working different shifts. And I had just finished my master's degree and just figuring things out and didn't think I had time to do it. But wasn't really crafting either on the regular. Every once in a while I would pull something out, but it wasn't regularly happening. So I just didn't feel like I had time.
Yeah, and you had kind of stopped crafting altogether for a while after moving
Mhm.
back home. Tell us why that happened.
It was just a hard time. Then I moved back in with my parents temporarily with a 6 month old, just because my husband was still in Western Kentucky and we were trying to figure that out. And then just making time for things, having room to do anything, um, and just figuring life out at a new school and just busy with mom and wife and work. And
Trying to find a new normal.
yes, a new normal. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. And I feel like one of the other reasons you may have waited so long to join the Clubhouse was because I think people think, well, like, you and I were crafting together in person in my
Hmm.
living room all the time. And so I'm sure there was this thought that was like, well, that's not going to be the same. And it's not the
Hmm.
same. I mean, we can be honest, it's not the same as being here in my living room crafting with me. But I would say that it probably does still provide you some sort of like camaraderie or community. And so, because I know a lot of our Clubhouse members speak to how
Hmm.
wonderful the community is. They think they're coming to learn to paint, but they end up staying because they love the community so much.
I think that hit the nail on the head right there. It is. It's so much about that. I mean, you can talk to people who don't craft all the time and you can show what you've made, but you don't get the same hurrah behind it that you do when you're in a group with people who they do that and they are passionate about that. So it does give a different sense of accomplishment when you do that type of stuff and make you feel good.
Yeah. I laugh and say, I can show something to my husband and he'll be like, oh, that looks nice, babe. But I can show something to the Clubhouse and it's, oh my goodness, how did you do such and such? Or I love the glitter. You get specific comments and you can feel the passion in their comments. They are geeking about it just like you are. And so
Yes.
that is what we need as women and crafters and creative people. We want to geek out about something with the people who enjoy it just as much as we do.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
get so inspired too by seeing some of the things that the ladies in that group are doing. I mean, it's constantly, I've constantly got a running Rolodex of ideas in my mind that I'm like, I want to try this that Tracy did, and I want to try that Pam did. And I never get to all those projects in my mind, but I'm always so inspired by everything that they post.
It makes you want to do better.
Yeah. Do you think it's made you craft more often?
Yes.
Yeah.
More intentional.
Yeah. So I've asked you this question before in a previous interview that we did. I'm going to ask it again. Um, how do you fit in time for it now? Because you are a busy teacher and a mom and a wife.
Mhm.
You've got very little free time.
A lot of my craft time comes after the kids are in bed and I sneak downstairs to where my craft room is and I might spend 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour working on something at night and I might work on the same project for 2 or 3 nights depending on how long I get it. Um, but just kind of fitting it in and really taking that time for me to get to do something that I enjoy instead of just doing the laundry and the dishes and the housework and all of the mundane tasks that come.
Yeah. And I know you and I have also talked about how it's sort of helped you come out of your shell. I don't know if that's the
Mhm.
creating part or if that's, partly due to the Clubhouse or if it's maybe a perfect storm of all the things, but you've accomplished a lot of things just in the last couple of years. So tell us about a
Yeah.
few of those things.
Um, I attended my first live event right after I joined the Clubhouse in 2022. So I went to Dallas and that kind of set off. That was the first time that I flew by myself, which sounds crazy because I was like 32 and had never flown by myself before. So did that and was there and was really shy the first day,
Mhm.
like didn't get out of my comfort zone, didn't really leave my seat, didn't talk to anybody except for those who were around me. And then decided that, okay, tonight at the pajama paint party, I'm not going to sit and paint. I'm going to socialize. And that's what I did. I just walked around the room and socialized. Um, and that was really good for me. And then coming home from that, I had kind of given myself like, okay, we're gonna give Painters Clubhouse a go for a couple months. You had made a pitch at the during promotion that year about being a teacher and being off on summer vacation. So I knew I was going to give myself that time. And I just enjoyed that part of it. And then when we got back from Dallas, I sent you a message one day like, hey, if I come up with this, can I teach a class inside Painters Clubhouse? And so that fall, I taught a class inside Painters Clubhouse. And right around that time, I joined design team. And I think I was really active inside Painters Clubhouse right from the get-go. And I think that really helped too, because just interacting with people in the clubhouse and making those connections with them, and that gives you a good feeling too, to be a part of that community. So I think as a member, not only just joining and doing the crafts and painting, but being active in the group made a big difference. And it just gave me a confidence to kind of take that step.
And I'm sure some of those ladies you had already met at Dallas at the live event. So it helps to like strengthen that bond with the Clubhouse sisters and feel like you know who you're talking to when you're commenting and posting.
Yes, that makes a big difference. And so then when I went to Destin this year and I had all these names of people that I had been talking with for over a year, then it was really neat then to meet so many more people and make those connections. And I feel like now when we get on the Zoom paint calls, like I know people.
Yeah. Well, so your husband, JD, came and joined us for the live event in Destin. What did he think about everything?
I don't think he realized how big it was.
Oh, yeah.
And just the energy that's in the room that fills it. I mean, he knew that he was coming and he knew he would have a good time with Michael, but he really interacted a lot with the ladies and had a great time.
Yeah, he anytime I would hear a lady laughing, like cackling outside out loud, I would look across the room and JD's talking to that person. The ladies really enjoyed talking to him. One of the things my husband,
encouraging.
He is, and he makes you feel good about yourself, because it's like he's very good at like giving you his undivided attention when he's talking to you, and you feel seen and heard and appreciated. So
he was so proud that I got up on stage and taught at Destin too. Like would just come up there and like remind me that I'm doing a good job, or remind me like, hey, get up and go walk around the room while you're doing this.
He's coaching you. That's so sweet.
Yeah, he is. He's really good.
One of the things Michael always talks about is that until that first Southern Adornments live, he didn't realize that like what camaraderie we have as women. He said the only place I'd ever seen or had that feeling before was with the military. You know, as brothers in arms, they have a camaraderie with one another, and they truly feel like a family and a community. And he said, I hadn't seen that anywhere except for when I finally came to Southern Adornments Live for that first one. He said, I could feel that in the room. And so he knows that that's like the secret sauce to the Clubhouse, to these live events and all of this. And so, yeah, you have taught in the Clubhouse multiple times. She joined the design team, which if you don't know what the design team is, I have a team of 4 designers, counting myself, that we design all the door hangers that we release each month to the Template Club and in our shop and for the Painters Clubhouse. And so Lauren is one of those. So not only is she painting and learning how to paint door hangers, but she's also designing them with the Procreate app in the iPad. So that's super cool. How has this like bled over into your regular life as a mom and as a teacher? I know you've been crafty with your kids at school and with your daughter. It's also changed your appearance.
Yes, I do it more with my kids. I mean, I've always been artsy and like crafts. I'm not scared to get craft stuff out and do that. But now I feel like I can be intentional when I sit down with my kids to do stuff, because I know what to do now. So from taking the templates and printing them out on paper and putting them on a canvas, I can now help them become better artists, because I know what to do now to teach them. Or finding designs that I can put on a wood round from Dollar Tree for Emma, and just doing different things like that with her so that she can have confidence in that. And now I bring it into school. So I would do like Christmas crafts with the kids at school, but now I'll bring a canvas in. We'll paint canvases at school. Just more engaged and looking for opportunities to do stuff with the kids. I've done it with my daughter's Girl Scout troop. She had a paint birthday party this year. So just opening those doors up for everybody too.
Yeah, it's a ripple effect, because you're teaching somebody else, and then that kid, that kid could go on to become an artist themselves, or teach another kid, or, I don't know. The inspiration just is a ripple effect. It goes on, and we may never know how far it reaches.
I
I
think
imagine these kids.
when you're crafty, you don't realize that there are other people who don't give their kids those experiences,
Mhm.
that don't have paints and brushes and resources at home, that don't keep, I mean, there's pom-poms and feathers and glitter and stickers and all kinds of stuff that the kids have access to at home. And you don't realize that there are kids that don't have that
Yeah.
because it's so easy for you to have that stuff.
Yeah, Charlie knows where my craft closet is. She's always in here pilfering around, getting out pom-poms, feathers, glitter, whatever she wants to get. And she knows she can come in here and borrow any of my paints at any time as long as she brings them back. And sometimes she does, sometimes she doesn't. But yeah, I think we take for granted the fact that not everybody has paints and stuff at home. I grew up with a mom who was always crafting and making stuff. I think I didn't realize until I was much older, like how much that influenced me. Like she would paint sweatshirts, and she would let me do a little part of it or something. She would like engage me in that and gluing on the embellishments or something. And there was always little crafty things that she was doing. And I don't think she gives herself enough credit for that. I don't know if she's watching right now, but she'll tell you right now, like, oh, I'm not a painter. And I'm like, you were the first painter. You were a painter before I was a painter. Like, don't, just because she's in her 60s now and she's put the paintbrush down and hasn't done it in years doesn't mean that she can't or that she never did.
We did paper mache growing up. Like, I remember doing paper mache with my mom. She shot film well into the time that digital cameras had come out. And we had a dark room in the basement growing up. Like, I remember going into the dark room and developing black and white pictures.
And you were into photography when we first met.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. You had a really good Canon camera or something.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that. Do you use it much now, or are you mostly iPhone now?
Like, I think still in sports you get better pictures, and if we're gonna go outside and try to take like portraits of the kids or pictures of the kids and stuff like that, we're gonna pull that camera out. But on a daily basis, I just use my phone.
Yeah. And then I was talking earlier too about how this is bled into the way you look and the way you present yourself. You have you've always been a colorful personality on the inside, but now it's showing on the outside. And I think part of this is a result of the growth that you've experienced over the last 10 years as a woman and as a mother and as a teacher. But I think your creativity and fostering that creativity has had a big impact on this. And I say this because I've seen it happen to other Clubhouse members too, who were kind of like a fly on the wall type of person, very shy, who now you wouldn't realize they're so shy because they're friends with everybody in the room.
Yes. And I definitely think I had a huge difference from how I acted in Dallas to how I acted in Destin. I mean, here I told you I didn't move seats in Dallas. I sat right there. I talked to those people around me. And when we were in Destin, I didn't pick a spot. I would just grab my supplies for that project and then go find an open chair and talk to whoever was around me. And I finished probably fewer projects than I did from Dallas because I would just get up and start talking to people and see what they were doing and just walking around. So I didn't finish all my projects because I was busy socializing.
Yeah, there's always time to finish painting them later. But now's the time to be making friends.
Exactly.
And one thing I wanted to point out is that, in Dallas, you were much more shy because you didn't really know everybody in the room yet. But in Destin, you were like working the room. You were already friends with everybody. Your husband was working the room. I think that happens when we kind of like create a community where people feel safe. They feel like they can 100% be themselves. And that is something so special about our community is I feel like everybody who shows up is being themselves. They feel like they can be authentic to themselves and they don't feel like they're going to be judged. When we're making art and then posting a picture of our art out on the World Wide Web, it can be a little scary, like what kind of reactions people are going to give you. And because I know I have had like a reel or something where I'm painting or doing something go viral. And I can have 100 positive comments, but then there might be like 20 of people who are like, oh my goodness, your hand lettering looks awful, and they'll tear you down. So it can be a little scary if you want to post a picture online of your artwork. But I think the Clubhouse makes people feel safe.
I do too. And you can see people as they progress through the Clubhouse that they've come in, they're starting. This was my first door hanger. And then, 6 months later, they're like, okay, start talking to me about how I do paint parties, because their confidence is growing and they want to know what it's like to be able to step out and do this with other people and add that to their resume. So it is really neat to see how other people progress.
Yeah, for sure. And everybody has different goals, right? Some people might want to sell their first door hanger. Some people might want to paint parties. Some people might even just want to like not do a business, but want to venture into other techniques that they can do in their painting.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to use that as my segue to ask you what your goals are for the rest of 2024.
That's hard, because I think when I started my page, That Cute Porch, I thought I want to do paint parties. But in the scheme of things, I struggle to get paint parties in.
You don't have any time.
I don't have any time. My kids are involved in stuff. And so I don't have time for paint parties. So I've really had to step back and reevaluate that. I really love the design aspect. I really love when people paint something that I designed. That's a really good feeling, because, they chose to paint what you designed. So I really enjoy that. I have been in my mind thinking maybe I need to start like an Etsy shop and start putting some finished stuff in Etsy. I sell some on my Facebook page, and locally, things like that, but maybe just to kind of push myself a little bit more. I know I don't have time to do paint parties, but if I can sell what I enjoy painting, then I think that might be a good next step for me too. I've thought about venturing into some craft festivals, to get busy on that. I'm saving to purchase a laser. I cut everything out with a jigsaw right now. But just kind of thinking about, I kind of had that on my mind. What are my next steps? If paint parties aren't my next steps, then what are my next steps?
Quitting your job and just painting all the time. That's the next step. I'm just teasing. That's me selfishly being like, I just want Lauren to be like FaceTiming me all day and just us paint together.
Oh, that would be nice, wouldn't it?
It would. I mean, that's the true dream there, is all these ladies that are, and I think that's what it is. You and I are pretty young compared to a lot of the ladies in the club. No offense to the rest of the Clubhouse ladies. We adore you. But they are retired. A lot of these ladies are retired and they don't have kids in the way. They're living their best life. Some of them are out painting on a camping trip, and some of them are out hiking, and I saw the other day where 3 Clubhouse members met up and went to lunch together. And I'm like,
yes,
that must be wonderful to have all that free time. I'm so glad they're getting together.
And I do get into that where there are slower months that I just don't get to sit down and paint. And I'm like, man, these people are sitting down and painting all the time. And I'm like, but I just have to remind myself, I mean, my kids are only going to be little for so long, and I just have to treasure that time that I have with them too. So it's finding that balance between, okay, I want to be present when my kids are here and not take away my weekend time with them. Even though I enjoy doing paint parties with people, I can't schedule that every weekend. So if I can sprinkle that in every once in a while and do some paint parties that I get to interact with other people, then I need to take that and enjoy that time. And then just take the time that I take, coming downstairs after the kids are in bed, or on every once in a while I get some time on the weekends where they're out of the house doing something, and I can come down here on breaks from school and I get a little extra time down here and take that time and just continue to invest in myself and do something that I enjoy. And then if I can sell what I'm making that I enjoyed making, then I feel like I'm on the right track.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, you make a great point. They always say, don't waste your life away. We need to find joy in the present. And so you have to make time for it. You have to make it a priority. So thank you for joining me today, Lauren. I've enjoyed getting to catch up with you. If you want to learn more about the Painters Clubhouse, I want you to go to paintersclubhouse.com and learn more about our amazing community. We'll teach you how to paint door hangers and bring you some new friends too. All right, y'all. Have a good day.